Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. My name is Jared, and this is episode 7. Now, I actually couldn't remember that during the show. You'll see that, but who's counting? Now, with that being said, we'll be discussing this week different cities who are known for certain things, food-wise mainly, and if that is hype or if it's actually legitimate what they're known for. We'll also be discussing dependency on technology and how the growth of technology will force a lot of entrepreneurs in the future. Possibly. That's just our take anyway. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you. We're going to go ahead and get into this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. Episode, I forgot. I lost count. So anyway.
I think we're on number 7. Might be on number 7.
I want to say 8. I want to say 8, but 7 or 8. Count. It's one of the two. We're losing count.
Either way, we rolling. We're getting up there finally. Yeah, either way, we rolling, definitely. Man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sorry we missed you last week. We'll get into a little bit of that. You know, not too heavy, but we'll get into a little bit of it. It was some business and some pleasure going on. But before we get into that, let's get into the stars of today's episode, the cigars. Now, me personally, I'm going to be smoking an AJ Fernandez New World, the Puro Especial.
Oh,
Puro Especial.
Is that it?
Not too heavy. That's it. That's it. Not too heavy. Just a little.
Okay.
Heavy.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some people that know that.
I thought it was gonna be a little bit more to that. We can say the cigar this time.
The perfect amount of Spanish for me, where I can handle it. I don't start slaughtering the language. So
hey, perfect. Spanish 101. That's all you need to know, man. Just enough to get you by.
That's it, man. That's it.
All right. So
what you got this week?
I'm going with the Drew Estate Undercrown. That's what we got right here.
Cool.
Blue band. Got the Maduro. So we're gonna go ahead and light this one up and see how this goes. I like Drew Estate. I think Drew Estate's a solid brand. They have some solid cigars I like. You know, if I see them in the humidor, this is one of the ones that, you know, well trusted.
Most definitely. Solid brand. I don't know what their respect value is within the community. I believe it to be at a pretty good place, you know, but Drew Estate has a couple of those little ones with the little flavors sometimes. So I think they get they might get a little bit of a bad rep for that. But other than that, they're good. They're good with those too. I like those too.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what? I was gonna say that as soon as you mentioned that. Out of all the flavored cigars, if I had to grab a flavored cigar, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Drew Estate. The Drew Estate Rocky Javas, you know what I'm saying? I think they do really well with that. They had that fine middle ground that if I want to go with a flavored cigar, I'm going to grab one of those Javas.
I agree. Respectable flavor cigars. Most definitely. Mm-hmm. You pair it with anything today?
Man, I got a little bit of Crown. A little bit of Crown with a little bit of cranberry juice.
Okay. I got a little bit of ginger ale and a little bit of a birthday gift that I got from my co-host here. Which Hennessy is that you got me?
Oh man, that's the XO, isn't it?
It's the XO. XO. So that's what I'm rocking with today, a little bit of that. I don't pull it out too often, but, you know, I figured I'd pull it out for today's episode since we've been on a little bit of a 3-week hiatus.
Little hiatus, come back strong. Come back right.
That's right.
Cheers to that.
Most definitely. I got a V-cut going today. Not because I felt like a V-cut, because it was the first cutter I came across. So that's what I'm using.
Yeah, same here. Going with it, straight cut, but it's the first thing I was able to grab. I wanted to go with a punch today. It was my mission to actually make sure I had a punch, grab the punch. But, you know, when it was time to go ahead and get the show going, straight cut was the very first thing I saw. So I was like, let's go with it. Already got it clipped, so can't go back now.
That's right. Had to commit. Look what I pulled out.
Oh, we got to see the spills.
I'm pulling out a cedar today. Hey, man, I'm pulling out all the stops today.
All right, man. So must mean we're going to have a good time.
I'm hoping so. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping so. We're going to see
how good smoke. Get your cigar every advantage you can give it.
I'm trying to. Now, hopefully this cedar stick don't give me no problems out here, and because we are live on Instagram as we film the show. For those who
Right.
don't watch us, who just listen to us on different platforms, so hopefully this thing don't torch super fast before I get it lit,
Right.
and I'm on camera embarrassing myself.
Hey, that's just having a good match game, man. Like if you have a good match game, you know what I'm saying, you should be good with the cedar spills. How many times in your experience have you ever been able to get your cigar lit off of one match?
Never.
How many matches? That's gonna be my goal. If I can get my cigar going off of one match, you know, then I say I made it.
I'd only be taking a guess. Obviously, I don't remember, but I would say I like to believe I've done it off two at some point. Not on a regular basis, but at some point. You know what I mean?
At some point. Okay.
Yeah. But that ain't the norm.
Oh no, it ain't the norm, but it is definitely a goal of mine. And one of my when I first got into the cigar world, so, one of my older gentlemen comrades that I would started smoking cigars with, that was his thing.
All
Challenged
matches?
himself to try to off matches, one match, and I see him do it several times. Very impressive.
Moving fast though, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you get it done quick. I mean, not gonna say he had not gonna say he had the best burn all the way through. Of course, it had to be a couple of relights here and there, but at least to get a good smoke going, I was able. I've seen it done. I've seen it done before.
That is a dedicated aficionado. The fact that he actually made that a goal of his and went for it every time out.
Yeah, I want to do it though. I think that'll be quite an accomplishment for me. All right.
So,
So
now we did miss, like I said, that's something I touched on, the fact that we missed 3 weeks of the episode. Not because we messed up like we did during the pandemic and stuff, but because of we had both took trips around the same time,
right.
business and pleasure also. Which leads me into a question for you in our travels. I went to LA, and when you go to LA, it's always a big in and out talk, a big conversation in that area.
In and
People
out.
love it.
Okay, In and Out Burger. Okay.
In and Out Burger, yeah. And the lines are crazy long, and it's always just busy and packed inside. And people on the West Coast love it. I have concluded I don't love it. I think it's hype. Good burger.
Okay. Okay.
But is it worth all of the hype and the waiting in the super long lines? Nah, man. I think it's overhyped. So for me, that leads me to the question to you: what places have you traveled, and you say, okay, they're known for this, but this is not what people say it is. Like this is overhyped. And what areas have you traveled where you were like, this meets the hype? This is exactly what I was told it was going to be.
Okay. Well, I have one.
Anything in general.
Okay. Well, I mean, since you led with food, I'll go with food since that was the first thing my mind started churning on. And this is something I know that you're going to probably disagree with because we've had this discussion before. Chicago style pizza.
Yeah, I personally hate it, but go ahead with your sense.
I'm a lover of Chicago style pizza. Heavily rooted in Detroit. Pizza Poppers is one of the big staples in that area, even though it's Detroit, Chicago style pizza. But that is something when I go to Detroit, that's one of the things I have to go have is some Chicago style pizza since I'm in that region. And when I was in Chicago, grab some of that. One thing I do not like in Chicago is Chicago style hot dogs. That
sucks also.
It's too much for me. That's when you go too far. So that's overhyped, if you ask me. I don't even know if it's even hyped up. It's just one of the staples. But one of the staples. I don't even know if it's hyped up. But it's definitely not something I'm going to Chicago to go get. If I see a hot dog stand selling Chicago style hot dogs, and Chicagoans, please don't hate me for it, but I'm walking straight past it.
Okay, so as a matter of fact, you by saying Chicagoans don't hate me, They shouldn't, because everybody getting fair smoke today. Like, more
Oh
than
yeah,
likely, it's gonna we you're not gonna be the only place to feel insulted, because I just straight up insulted In and Out right off the rip to start this
off the rip.
conversation. Yeah. So now, but with that being said, I don't like the Chicago hot dogs either. Like you say, it's too much going on in them. They little, what you call them, gyros, or whatever they meat that they known for up there. That's
Mhm.
pretty decent. You know what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
go
But
with that. Yeah,
yeah, but their hot dogs, whatever. You
no,
know what I'm saying?
pass up.
I, I pass on it. Find something new to be hyped up about. You know what I'm saying? Because that ain't it for me.
Hmm.
Now, hold on one
You good?
second.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, also on top of that, I say they pizzas. Totally disagree with you on the pizza thing, man. The pizza thing,
Oh man, we
it's
lost.
just a horrible idea to me, man. Stop putting my tomato
Okay.
sauce on top of my pizza and put it inside. And even you don't agree with the fact that they pizza is good either. And I'll tell you why you don't agree with it.
Okay. Why is
Because
that?
you say you go to Detroit to get it. So you like the way
Detroit do it.
Detroit does it. You don't like the way that Chicago does it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I only really say Detroit because I frequent Detroit more so than Chicago by far, and
So
that's I'm not gonna drive to Chicago to go get Chicago style pizza if I get Chicago style pizza in Detroit.
so you get Chicago style or Detroit style? Which one's better?
Don't do that to me, man. Don't put me out there like that with the D hat on. I'm gonna have to go with Chicago style pizza over
Ooh.
Detroit style pizza.
Okay, I didn't expect to hear that. I don't think I ever asked you that one before. Okay,
I don't think
now
you have. Yeah,
interesting. So you like that little tomato sauce on the tops
I
mess?
do. It works for me, man. It works for me.
Mm-mm. I went to Chicago. I wish I could remember the name of your place that's so hyped up, Chicago. I don't recall what it's called. Went out there, stood in a line for like an hour for this pizza, sat
Mhm.
down, and they served me this big giant thick piece of pizza and the tomato sauce is on top, and I cut through this thing looking like
You got to eat it with a
lasagna.
fork and a knife.
You got to eat it with like a fork and a knife, and it looked like lasagna, and it's just like, what is this mess that I'm eating? Like, I'm disappointed in you, Chicago, and your pizza.
Oh man, come on now, come on
Stop,
now.
stop bragging on it. Just make it, but don't brag on it.
Don't brag on it. I feel you.
Don't brag on
All
it.
right. Also, I will say this, and I know there's a lot of people from Texas out there, but Texas barbecue. Texas barbecue is not it for me either. Spent some time out in Texas. Granted, it was El Paso, Texas, so different part of Texas from the mass of it, but Texas style barbecue is not it either. I think way overhyped.
I gotta agree with you. I gotta agree. I haven't spent a lot of time in Texas, nowhere near what you spent because you lived out there for a period for some years. But I didn't enjoy it when I had it. I said, "This is it. This is
This
the
what
great
everybody talks
Texas
about.
barbecue." I'd have took North Carolina barbecue over that. Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
man,
any
okay,
day,
whatever.
any day. Yeah, give me that vinegar based barbecue any day of the week over Texas barbecue.
Wasn't impressed by it.
Yeah,
Wasn't at all. New York pizza is what they say it is to me.
it is. It is.
Okay, we in agreement. New
Yeah.
York, y'all some bad boys with your pizza. I went into it looking at it like, okay, it's just a regular slice of pizza. When I looked at it and I bit into it and I said, daggone, I gotta go get me some more. And I went back for some
They're going
more.
back for another slice. Yeah.
It was real. It was real. It might not have looked like it was gonna be real, but it was real. So shout out to
Facts.
you guys for telling the truth.
Not overhyped.
Not overhyped. Legitimately what they say it is.
Hmm.
And New York is known for hyping, but you got it right that time.
Yeah.
Uh I'm gonna step out on a limb here and surprise you with something. Uh I live in Atlanta, and some of this soul food in Atlanta ain't what they say it is. some of it's a little hyped. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that you can't find some good
Ouch.
stuff, but some of it's a little hype. Some of the soul food now
You
we
know what? I'm
you spent a lot of time in the South. I spent all my
yeah.
life in the South, so I know my soul food, and some of it's hyped here in Georgia.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Gladys Knight's chicken and waffle spot. Remember that? I don't even know if it's still even open.
Right.
Wasn't as good as I thought it was gonna be. I was soup to go. Given the opportunity and showing up, line was crazy down the street, down the block. Got in there. It was okay.
It's
It was
okay.
nothing that I got to go back to Atlanta to return to. Um, so in the vein of soul food, I can kind of see where you're saying where you're going with that.
Right. Now, maybe my point of view is unfair because with soul food, there's some people, you can go to their kitchen and they get
Mhm.
busy. And maybe it's unfair to say that a restaurant is supposed to compare to that, but I,
So let me
I'm
ask
a
you about
soul
this.
food aficionado, so I just can't
Right.
compare these restaurants to Big Mama. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. What Big Mama making in that kitchen. So let me ask you
Phew.
this: in the vein of Atlanta, and you've been there for a while, several years. Why do you think the soul food game there is not as great as you would imagine it would be? Is it because of the influx of people from the outside influencing what the core of Atlanta is? Is it losing? Is it being diluted a little bit, maybe?
It's probably people not from rooted here cooking it. Is
Mhm.
more than likely, if I had to guess, they're the ones starting businesses. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, because everybody's a lot. It's huge influx of people coming to Atlanta over the last
Yeah,
several decades,
yeah.
blowing the
It's a
city
melting
up.
pot.
Yeah, from outside coming down there, and not necessarily deeply rooted in Southern culture.
Hmm. Right, and I think it's probably some people who just ain't been cooking it their whole life. They came, fell in love with it,
Try
and
to
they said,
adapt to it.
I can do this, and let's start a
Right.
business." And it probably was good at home with your other people from Middle America or West Coast or from up north or wherever you came from. You know what I'm saying? It probably was good to them because they were used to whatever they were used to. But
Hmm.
me as an actual Southerner, nah, some of it be missing. Some of it be
All
missing,
right.
and it get hyped.
So let me ask you this: since we're on this subject, what is something or place that has a type of cuisine that you would fly to, travel to, just to have? Gotta have it.
Uh, that the down in South Florida, their
Hmm.
Hispanic food, they get busy.
Okay.
The Cuban food and stuff down there,
Mm.
whoo, serious.
Yeah, give
They're
me give me a
serious.
good Cuban with some plantains. Yeah, let's do that.
Right. I'd fly for some of that Cuban food down there in South Florida.
Okay.
Um, let me think. Let me think. Right off the top of my head, that's what came to mind right off the bat when you said it. I mean, you got a spot in particular?
This particular time, I can't say anything really sticks out. Nothing strikes me really right now.
Right.
Um, right now I'm in the DC area, and of course in this area, Baltimore, everybody talk about the crab cakes, and that's something that I kind of always clamor for, having some nice crab cakes. So
Yeah.
I'm in the region of where that's something I did. You know what I'm saying? Want to get my hands on, not being on the coast or close to the coast for several years. Have some good fresh, what I'm saying, crab meat, crab legs, crab cakes, all that good stuff. So I would say that right now off the top of my head.
So do you like it? The Baltimore crab cakes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Maryland, not Baltimore.
Maryland.
Maryland.
Yeah. Maryland style crab cakes. Yeah. They
They
they,
were
they,
alright
they,
to
they
me.
do they do get busy here with it. I will say that.
They were alright to me. I
Okay.
don't I'm not saying that I'm not insulting it. Like I've gone on a limb and insulted other people, but they weren't the best crab cakes I had, and I knew
Okay.
that. And I went.
Well,
I've been, I got family in Baltimore, so I
mhm,
go out there pretty regularly. I've been to they spots in the city of Baltimore and on the outskirts. They make them really thick, from what I can tell. Like they
mhm.
make them thick. They make some big
Well, see,
crab.
what I like about it, yeah, what I like about it is you get, you know what I'm saying, more of the crab meat than filling and stuff like that. And I think that's
Yeah,
what a lot of people really come here to, and they look for that, you know what I'm saying,
right,
to actually get that lump crab meat that it's
right,
not getting diluted with filling and all this stuff to kind of make up.
right,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? They're getting that fresh stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah,
think that's what the difference is if people look for something like that.
yeah. They take care of you with the portions, without a doubt. You getting a lot of crab meat, but I can't say that they were the best I ever had. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But I actually, probably the best crab cakes I ever had was right here in Atlanta at a spot. But
Really?
yeah.
Might have to shout them out, man.
They had some really good seafood. It was Atlanta Fish Market. Atlanta Fish Market.
Okay.
They had
Okay.
they crab cakes was hitting, but is it? But like you say, yeah, it was it filled with a lot of other stuff. Yeah, it was filled with a lot
Mhm.
of other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It won't like the ones in Maryland. They do take care of you in Maryland, but wasn't the best that I had. But they were good though.
Okay.
No complaint. I
Okay.
ain't gonna complain about
Okay.
them. Like I'm not talking down on it, but
Not doing them like in and
I have
out.
had, yeah. But I have had a little better. And In and Out is, don't get me wrong. In and Out is good, but
It's good.
it ain't that
It's
good.
good. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No. It's good burgers, but it's nothing I have to travel to LA to get. It's like one of those things that, hey, I'm here. I might as well
mhm,
go ahead and grab me one because I'm here. So it's
mhm.
one of those things you got to ingratiate yourself with since you're in that
Right.
area.
Right.
You know what I'm
And if
saying?
the line ain't super long, I'll do it. But would I sit there and wait in a 30-minute line for it? Like
No,
some people?
nah,
No.
nah.
I ain't that good. So that's some context to it, West Coasters. So you don't have to be
Hey, look,
like,
nah, them folks in the West Coast, they ride about their in and out, man.
yeah, they ride
They
on
will
it.
ride for their in and out.
Now,
I've had arguments with people, you know what I'm saying, from that region, looking at talking about Cookout versus
right.
In and Out versus Whataburger in that Texas Florida region. You know,
Yeah,
and people don't play about that Whataburger in Texas and Florida. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? People in the Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina area don't play about their Cookout,
Right.
and
Same,
West
same
Coasters don't play
scenario.
about their In and Out. You know what
They
I'm
don't.
saying?
You're right. You're right. And I wonder, does New Yorkers, are they as serious about they what's they little steam patties up north called
You
them little
know.
steam square patties they got we got Crystals here in Georgia. They got
Oh, you talking about White Castle?
White Castle, yeah.
Now I don't think anybody like too totally serious about their White Castle. Like,
I
nah, man,
hope
don't talk about my White Castle. Don't talk bad on my White Castle. But nah, you got to get some White Castle if you go up to that northern area. You know what I'm saying? Michigan, all the way across.
not. Yeah. Now Whataburger is good, but is it I didn't know people was serious about it like that.
Oh
That's
no,
interesting to know. It's good, but it ain't. I
What a
would
burger is a serious thing, man. Trust me.
I
Like I
put
said, I
them in
lived in
that same
Texas. Too.
conversation. To me, that's I put them in the same conversations in and out. If somebody was to come bragging to me about Whataburger, I'd be like, all right, it's cool, man. Like,
Nah,
calm
man, what a
down.
burger. What a burger. Way better than In and Out.
You think
Way
so?
better. Hands down. Hands down. Whataburger's got me through many a nights.
See, now that's unfair though. That's unfair because you done had experiences with Whataburger. Now, if somebody asked you about Miss Winters, you would brag on them because it got you through many a nights. But it don't mean that it's necessarily the best chicken.
Truth on that. We grew up strong on Miss Winters, man.
Yeah, Miss Winters got us through some time. Speaking of places that got us through some times, what is up with some of these places changing their recipes up, man? Like Wendy's got us through sometimes, and Wendy's needs to go back to the yellow and red packaging because the food just ain't as good under this new
It ain't the
packaging.
same.
Not to me.
Other than that breakfast, their breakfast is hitting.
They did good on the breakfast, but man, I mean, what about your main stuff, man? Your burgers just ain't as good, man. They
Yeah,
cook them different or something.
no, you're right. Seems like they do, and I don't know if it's a money thing, a finance thing, or if they say, hey, look, we got to change our recipes up because of certain regulations and the way they were doing things back in the 80s is not how you can do it in the 2020s. You know what I'm saying? That you
It
got to
could.
switch your recipes around. Like I know with like Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, or whatever, they had changed some things up or whatever, and they chicken
What it
ain't hitting
was?
like you used to. You know what I'm
Not
saying?
at
Like it
all.
was for me in the 80s. You know what I'm talking about?
KFC ain't been good since the 90s, man. That was the last time they had a good piece of fried chicken. I don't know which year in the
Since
90s, but one of the years of the 90s. Like,
hey, Colonel done switched up on us, huh?
big time, man. All them herbs and spices is different. Like, I don't know which one. No, man. Burger King, not as good. Some of that flame broiled smell, taste
It ain't the
is
same.
tame. It ain't the same. Your French fries aren't good anymore. They went from like the number 2 spot to they got to be about number 6 now. It looked
Oh
like
yeah,
they ready to go
yeah.
out of business.
I wouldn't say that, but I would say they have dropped down from way from the number 2 spot. You know, especially with when we talk about a place like In and Out. Like if you go to LA, how many people are going to go to Burger King versus going to In and Out? You know what I'm
Give me In
saying?
and Out.
You know what I'm saying? So they have to deal with those staples a lot of times, and you know what I'm saying in these cities. Like you got the homegrown people, they're gonna go there, and then you got the people from out of town, they're gonna go there. So like,
Yeah,
so who's going over to BK? You know what I'm saying?
the regulars, the citizens, and they
Now
in Philly.
now the citizens gonna go to In and Out too. The citizens gonna go to Whataburger too. When I'm in Texas, if I had the opportunity to go to Burger King or Whataburger, I'm going to Whataburger.
Yeah, but you know what Burger King has become is I haven't been there in a while, and I'm sick of eating this other stuff all the time. Let me go to
Mm-hmm.
Burger King. That's what it's become
Right.
one of them spots. Taco Bell is one of them spots. You know what I'm saying? It's just those places. But meanwhile, McDonald's is still thriving, and they don't, and their food really ain't better than any of the other places.
Yeah.
Service is definitely not top notch.
Nah.
Like, okay, so a conversation I had with my wife, me and her talk about this. You know, we go to Chick-fil-A out of the fact that we know it's gonna be consistent, quick, and good
Consistent.
service. And it ain't cause the food, we don't even like the food that much. Like it ain't that it's good, you know what I'm saying? But it ain't great. We don't like it that much. But if I had to choose between there and somewhere else, it's just like, man, just go to
But you know
Chick-fil-A.
what you, no matter what state, city, or whatever you in, you know you're gonna get the same across the board. That's the
Same.
difference. That's the difference. You know
Yes.
what you're gonna get, and it's not gonna be any deviation from it.
Mm-mm. Between service or food. Yeah. So I don't know. A lot of those staples, not staples, but a lot of those old big names, just not the same, man.
Hmm. I mean, do you think it's just us growing to a point, or is it just bad business, or is it's hard to get workers to work like that, like how they used to before? You know, growing up, kids didn't mind having a job at a fast food restaurant because that's how you gonna make your way. You know what I'm saying? And didn't mind showing up doing what you got to do, and making sure service is good, making sure you're cooking and stuff right, everything going. You know what I'm saying? According to plan. Or is it now just times have changed and shifted so much that you're not getting quality out of people as much anymore? And then business are thinking more so about their bottom line. So they're skimming off the, you know what I'm saying, off the top and trying to see where they could save money at. Like what's, you know what I'm saying?
I'm sure a lot of that plays a part. A lot of that plays a part, big time. That's what I respect about In and Out. I respect that about In and Out, and I respect that about Chick-fil-A is the fact that they pay their employees enough to provide good, consistent service.
Right.
So I'm gonna pay you well enough to put value in this position. And as long as this position has value in it, I'm going to bring in good workers. And if you're not willing to do the work the way I need it done, you can go. And somewhere like McDonald's, there's no excuse for the service to be as bad as it is. You know what I'm saying? It's no reason for it to be as bad as it is because they make enough money where all they have to do is just make a little bit of a sacrifice. Pay your people, pay each of them $2 an hour more so I can have some good service and make me actually be willing to come back to your restaurant again.
Right.
Now, if you have 15 people in there, you pay them $2 an hour. You know what I'm saying? Extra. How much
Not that
money
much.
is that?
Yeah.
$30. You know what I'm saying? So all you got to do is cough up another $30 to make your people behave better, and you're gonna get that in 15 minutes. You know what I'm
And I
saying?
say
In the
this too,
drive-through.
they raised the prices enough to be able to do that. They raised
Yes.
the prices of the food enough to do that. Think about you brought up Wendy's and how they were back in the day. The 99-cent menu. That was when it came
That
up
was
with
the
that
spot.
thing, that was
Go
it for
to.
us. Yeah.
Right.
Now you can't find nothing on a menu for 99 cents. You know what I'm saying? You used to be able to get a 5-piece nugget for 99 cents. Now you get a 4-piece nugget for $1.50.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Not only did
So
you
I
deprive me of a nugget, but you charged me 50 cents more for it.
so with that adding up, I know you got enough money to where you can pay your employees more because I guarantee you they're not paying. You think about it the last 20 years, I guarantee you that they're not making that much more money minimum wage than they were 20 years ago.
They're
Not
not.
that much more.
Right. So consider this. This is the interesting thing. Pandemic time. Now they're all
Mhm.
forced to do it. They're all forced to pay people more. But you're
Right.
not necessarily bringing in better employees now because everybody's wages have to charge more. Like I went
Mhm.
into Target in my area one day recently and found and noticed the sign saying that they pay people $15 an hour now. Now, when I worked at Target back in 2000,
Let's talk
mid
about that.
2000, I think it 2006, I think when I worked at Target, I was getting $7 an hour. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So now they're getting 15 an hour, and that was impressive. This was before the pandemic. Now the pandemic hits, nobody wants to work now, and then all the places are having to charge more. Last time I went through
Mhm.
my McDonald's drive-through, they said they would charge. They're night service people. They were paying them 15, and I think the janitors at night are getting paid 16 an hour. So they're
Mhm.
forced to pay more now. It's not because they wanted to. It's because nobody's working, and I need to fill these positions. So now I have to entice you with money. You should have been
Yeah.
doing that though, so you can bring in some quality workers. And then from there, if they're not doing the quality work, get rid of them because somebody will
And
always
you can
want their
find
position.
I say, and you can find somebody else who'd be willing to take that $15 an hour.
Yes,
Guaranteed.
and Chick-fil-A takes good care of their people. From anything I ever heard from their workers, they get
Mhm.
great
Good
benefits. You know what I'm
benefits.
saying?
Yeah.
And that's why they all act so well behaved at work. Like, like people always make jokes about the in and out workers are like Get Out. Not the in and out, but the Chick-fil-A workers are like the movie Get Out. It's because they're taken care of, so they do the job correctly. It's a simple job, you know what I'm saying? And I think what you said is the problem. I think a lot of these corporations for these restaurants, fast food restaurants, they just don't care. They got caught up in the bottom line and they lost track of what's important, which is taking care of their customers. But we'll check in with the cigars as of now.
Yeah, let's go ahead
So
and do that. Where you at? Where you at with yours, man?
for me, I got a lot of leather and pepper coming through on this right now. Not super strong. I would say probably medium body, but I got a lot of pepper and leather notes coming through on this right now.
Okay.
Smooth though,
Okay.
smooth.
You know what? I mean, and it's funny you said that because I'm getting not pepper. I'm not getting the peppery, but the leathery notes, smooth leathery notes, coming through on this one as well. I, I'm not a big Maduro smoker, so
Hmm.
I'm not exactly sure if that's something that's synonymous with that type of cigar. Are you familiar at all?
Mm, I can't say because I don't actually smoke a lot of cigars where I get a leathery note.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and that's pretty much where I'm getting at. Like, it's funny you said that, and I'm getting the same thing. It's like, oh, okay. So for me today is you know what I'm saying, a pleasant change. It's not bad. It's just something I don't typically get.
Right.
You know, I usually get more of the cocoa notes, earthy, woody notes, and stuff like that. More so than that leathery body.
That's interesting. Then we both picked that one out. Just go around.
Yeah.
Was that one that you had
Yeah.
in the humidor, or is that one that you bought?
It's one I bought recently. Just a matter of fact, I bought it just last week when I was in Kentucky, Indiana, Louisville. How do you say it?
Okay.
Louisville. I,
Louisville.
I, I just found out that I've been pronouncing it wrong for years. I've been calling it Louisville. It's Louisville. You know,
Oh, that's
they'll
how they
kick you
say
out the
it.
city if you say it wrong. Yeah, yeah, they'll
Oh
kick you out the
yeah.
city if you say it wrong.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, we'll get over it, Louisville. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I done got loose. We done opened up this episode. I'm giving
oh no,
everybody
no,
a little bit.
hey, we talking about everybody's location. You know what I'm saying? So everybody getting smoked today, like you said.
Yeah. Blame it on the Hennessy, man. You know, I'm sorry, man. I won't drink none of this next episode.
Hey, no, but a lot of love to Louisville, especially if you're a bourbon drinker. And while I was out there, man, bourbon galore. Bourbon, that's like bourbon heaven. You know what I'm saying? Everything they cooking food out there with bourbon ribs, bourbon chicken.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
How
saying?
was it? How was the bourbon? Is it I mean typical bourbon, or is it something a little,
Typical, yeah, yeah, typical bourbon. I mean, but it's just, that's where you're gonna find your Jim Beams and everybody else who do bourbon. It's there. They got the
Oh,
factories. They got the bourbon tours. You know what I'm
did
saying?
you
You can
get
see
into any
all
of the
the.
food?
I did not get into much of the food. Um, I wish I had more time. I that's something I wish I would be able to contribute to the earlier conversation that we was just having, as far as the food and trying all those different types of cuisines that they had with all the bourbon and stuff in it. So next time I'm there, maybe if I'm ever there again.
All right. If
If I don't have plans, but you know what I'm saying, I never had plans in the first place, but I found myself there.
right.
And then even while I was there, I had one of their Kentucky uncured fire cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Recommend it. I might have to throw that in the post at some point. But very unique smoke. Very unique smoke. It definitely has a unique flavor that I've never had before out of a cigar. Um, has an interesting bite. So if you're not prepared for that, it might take you off guard. But after getting into the cigar, it actually, what I'm saying, it married pretty well throughout the smoke. So I'm gonna throw that in the post, and I encourage somebody to pick that up, give it a shot.
Okay. Um, that is that the one that you showed me?
Yeah, that's the one I showed you. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hey, I didn't know that you had already smoked that one.
Oh yeah, I
How long
smoked it
of a
while I
smoke
was
was it?
there. I had to. I had to smoke it while I was there.
In the moment. In the
You know
moment.
what I'm saying? I'm in Kentucky, so I'm gonna smoke one of them Kentucky cigars. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure that's what they smoke at the derbies.
Right. What? How long of a smoke was it?
I want to say I got about a good hour out of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a nice little burn. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy, but got everything I needed out of it smoking. You know how I am when I smoke. I gotta get everything out of it. So he gave it to me.
Okay. We'll have to keep that one in mind, man. Maybe I'll bring it on the show one week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I should have got another one and brought that on the show. But
Yeah.
what
That way you
what
can
is
judge
thinking
the
for the
vibe.
future? Yeah, one thing for the future. But since we just brought that up about our travels, had an interesting situation on the way back from Kentucky, and we talked about this briefly. Um, so driving from Kentucky back to Virginia, back to the DC area, I got to go through West Virginia, and as I'm traveling through West Virginia, the rental car I had didn't have a GPS system in there, so I'm using my phone for GPS. somewhere in a crazy area in the middle of West Virginia. I had no idea where I'm at. I'm driving for several minutes to an hour or whatever. Cell service gone. I have no access to using my map whatsoever. Map just goes, you know what I'm saying, down the drain. Can't use it. Not tracking where I'm at. I'm like, what in the world's going on, right?
Yeah.
And we actually had a conversation in the middle of it, like as far as the era that we come from. How back in
Right.
the day, you know what I'm saying, we didn't have that technology to be able to look at a, you know what I'm saying, look at a phone or look at a GPS in the car and for it to give us point by point directions. So I remember
Mm-hmm.
even in college when MapQuest came out, you was able to go on the internet, print out your directions on how to get from point A to point B. That was like
Right.
crazy technology. I can go on the internet
Yeah.
on MapQuest and get some directions that tells me how to get from point A to point B turn by turn. Oh, we
Mm-hmm.
was good. But
Right.
before that happened, you have to get a map. Before you leave, either you have your maps loaded up or you stop off at a gas station. They had the little maps by the register. You go in and you find you a map, plot out where you need to go, what roads you're gonna take, what routes you're gonna take, and get from point A to point B. And fingers crossed you make it. Right? Don't miss a
Right.
turn.
Right.
So that brought up an interesting thing that you mentioned to me was how dependent are we becoming on this new technology? Like how is that affecting us as far as being able to use our own logic and understanding to do the work that all the technology does for us now? You know what I'm saying? How is
Mm-hmm.
that affecting us? Like, do you see our youth becoming more dumbed down because of so much technology allowing them to be able to do so much without even thinking about doing it anymore? You know, without having to go through all the steps that we used to have to go through back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I see not only our youth, I see us, our generation, becoming dumbed down. Like, you know what I'm saying? And those before us. You
Yeah,
know,
not not.
that's not a
I
shot
was
at
gonna
you.
say.
That's not a shot at you, but us in general, though, we all are.
Nah, no. I mean, because honestly, like I had a moment where I had to sit back and think, like, hold on, what's going on? And I have to go to my map. It's not tracking where I'm at, and try to look at the signs and see what exit I just passed and what area I'm looking at, what signs I'm seeing, figure out where I'm at on the map, and then how to backtrack myself to get to where I need to go. Like it took a minute for that to
To
snap back
register.
to that. Yeah, like hold on, I can figure this out.
Yeah, this
You know what
isn't
I'm
the
saying?
end of
I
the
just
world
got
for me.
yeah, I can still see a map, even though it's not tracking where I'm at. I can still figure out. Okay, I'm here. That sign says this road, this street. I might need to go down this one, so let me go back around and figure out where I'm at. You
Right.
know what I'm
You have
saying?
the skill set to handle it. Even though it was like you had to remember that you had the skill set. Some people don't even have the skill set for that. They are
They don't have the
just,
skill set anymore.
it's a wrap. Like they're gonna have to call like AAA to come take them to their location. Like they're in trouble.
So yeah, man. Like that just brought to light that, like, man, how dependent are we really becoming on this new technology that we didn't have?
So I got an interesting story for you. So check it out. While I'm out there, right, and on my trip,
Mm-hmm.
now we had rented a Turo. Are you familiar with Turo?
No.
Okay, Turo is pretty much the Airbnb of cars.
Oh,
So if
okay.
you
I
want to
think I've
rent a
heard of that
car,
before.
yeah, it's a car rental service. It's an app which is a car rental service, and you can rent your cars. Now you can usually tell if it's a Turo because there will be some kind of lock on the vehicle, like the
Mm-hmm.
same type of padlock that you'll put on your house or whatever else on the door if somebody's selling their home. So we had rented a Jeep. It was a padlock on the back of the Jeep. We're riding around, and I see another Jeep with the padlock stuck on the back of the vehicle. It was a Jeep,
Mm.
and the little back door that you open it up with, there was a padlock attached. So I'm looking at this young guy drive down the street with his girlfriend, and they're both just riding along with a padlock on the back. And I'm thinking to myself, I knew exactly what happened because even I had a little bit of a tough time getting it off at first. but I knew how to get it off. I got it off. You know what I'm saying? This young man didn't have just the training to know how to take a lock off. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew how to open it. He put the code in and opened it and took the key out to get inside his vehicle. He didn't know how to get it off.
Know how to get it off.
He didn't know how to get it off. And just as a guy, I looked at him and I said, wow, man, we are in trouble. Like, because we're losing our skill. We're losing our pride in being men. Like, you know what I'm saying? To the point where we're like, well, we used to be good with our hands and we knew how to do stuff and repair stuff and build stuff.
Are we changing tires still?
Do we know how to change tires? Do you know how to change your oil? Don't get me wrong. I don't change my oil, but I know how to do it. I don't change my tires anymore, but I know how to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm looking at him like, wow, man, you got your lady riding down the street and you got a padlock on the back of your vehicle. This is embarrassing. He didn't know how to do it. And it just was a realization to your point about us losing touch with, because of technology. Because of technology, this young man doesn't know how to use his hands. And now he's riding it down the 405 with a padlock on the back of his vehicle because he don't know how to use his hands. And that's this generation.
You know what? And then I've also had this similar thought on the way to Kentucky as I'm driving through and I'm seeing all this industry. You know what I'm saying? Like, jobs that me personally, I don't consider or think about anymore that constantly make our economy run. You know, power plants and all this stuff. Like, do you see the new generation getting into that stuff like that? Like, who's going to be manning these power plants and doing all these jobs, the manual labor stuff that built society the way it is, in order for us to have this technology? You know, everybody wants to be a YouTube sensation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or a musician or an athlete or something like that. I don't see nobody saying, hey, look, you're a blogger. No, nobody's saying, hey, I want to learn how to do this manual trade.
Right.
That stuff's going to start dying out over the next 50, 60, 70, 100 years. Who's going to be
you
doing
don't have to go that far. In my personal opinion, I think technology is going to replace those positions anyway. It's a matter of time before enough technology totally replaces those jobs. Like, those factories are already full of technology doing most of the work. And pretty much the people, their only work to do is to guide stuff into the machine. Make sure if it gets jammed, you correct this. You're watching to make sure stuff doesn't mess up. Eventually, they're going to have enough sensory and everything else where they don't need you there. So those positions are gone. Now, with that being said, how earlier in the conversation we talked about corporations at these fast food restaurants paying people enough to do the job. I see the youth not enjoying doing work, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you go to the grocery store and people just are rude, your cashiers are just rude at places now. Like, and it's just like, you should put some value in your position because technology is going to replace you soon. Like, cashier.
I mean, it's already been happening. Yeah, you got 20
self-checkout lines going on and 2 regular lines with 2 cashiers going, and the cashiers frowned up the whole time. And it's like, do you not realize you're close to being out of work? Like, you should put a smile on your face and make more people come to your line so they don't get rid of your line.
Your position is close to being
obsolete,
terminated.
Right. And even if you go to a restaurant, waitresses and stuff, you're in trouble. You need to provide good service.
Man,
because
tell me this.
Yeah.
What is even the point for waitresses now? Bro,
there is none, because I go sit down at TGI Fridays or somewhere like that, and they have the machine there for me to order my entire meal.
Order your entire meal, or the barcode. You look at the barcode, you say what you want. Like, you don't even have to talk to them anymore.
Right.
Order what you want.
I don't even have to pay you.
Like, they bring the food to you, and then you pay through the machine or you pay through the app. Like, I've been to several restaurants up here where I just use the barcode. The menu pops up on my phone. You order through your phone, get your food. When you're done and ready to close out your bill, you just open your phone back up and use the same app to pay your food.
Right.
Pay
So
for your
now your
food.
position is you are a liaison of the food. All you do is
Just
you
bring me
transport
my
the food from
food.
location to location,
The
and then
location. That is it.
you clean up the plates afterwards. Now, guess what's going to happen? There, I don't know if you've seen this before, but I watch a lot of like business shows and stuff like that where people create new technology and they just talk about
Mm-hmm.
businesses. Already out in what's the part of San Francisco where all the technologies that what do they call it?
Silicon Valley. What's that?
Silicon Valley, they're running test runs on delivery services with robots who just
Right.
ride down the city and deliver food. So, what's going to happen when that gets figured out? They're going to just be riding from one location in the restaurant to bring your food to the next location. So, guess all that bad customer service when they ask for my score for me to give a survey and I rate you low, that's going to get rid of you. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because the
my food's
robot's
gonna
going to
arrive.
replace you.
Yeah, my food's gonna arrive to me on a cart, an automated cart that
Uh-huh.
just bring me my food. That's it. Here you go.
And with a smile drawn on his face, and unlike your frown that you're giving me. So all of that's
And the
going
thing
like
is, I'm still tipping. What did I
yeah,
tip you for? To bring me my food?
right. You still want
That's it.
20%, and you've done 10% less. You know what I'm saying? Like you've done 50%
15%
less of
less.
your job. No, you've done 50% of your job less than you had to do it in the past. Yet you still want 20%. So maybe I should take your tip in half also to 10%. Like you get what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
I give you 20 just for being bad service. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of
But
those
here's the
type of
thing:
tippers.
you ain't even got to tip them anymore, honestly. Like and truly, because when I leave out, I don't have to see you after you bring me my food. Because 9 times out of 10, you didn't even come back and fill my drink up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of technology's got a lot of these businesses in trouble, man, and the employees don't even realize it.
Yeah,
I've seen also
things are gonna look a
restaurants where
lot
they
different
have
over the
like,
next 10 years.
have you seen the restaurants where they have like little chutes that just go across the top and drop food off in like a
No,
little,
I haven't seen
the same way that the
haven't
bank
seen
does the
that
little
yet.
chute when you're in the drive-through and it shoots
Yeah, I
it
know what you're
from.
talking about.
Yeah, they have that with food also. Now, it's not at a lot of places, but the fact that it exists lets you know they're already trying to figure out how to eliminate you.
Wow.
I call my bank on my credit card. They don't even give me the option to talk to somebody. You got to fight to get to a person. They're
Yo,
trying to condition you to get used to not dealing with people. They want
no,
you
even then,
gone.
yeah. I've gone into a branch to talk to somebody in a branch. Like, and the very next thing they ask, "What did you try the app?"
Right.
I didn't want to try the app. But did you use the ATM outside? Did you try to? I didn't want to go to the ATM. I wanted to come to a person, handle a transaction, get what I need, and maybe ask a question or two. Hopefully that you know the answer to it or have some kind of idea what I'm talking about. Even then, it's like you trying to brush me off to an automated service, a phone, an app,
They
an
don't even
ATM. It's
realize
like
what they're doing. They don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize you think you're making your life more convenient in the moment, but in the long term, you are
you're
eliminating
eliminating
yourself.
yourself.
You have removed all value you bring. So when they tell you they don't need you, what is your argument to that? How do you prove that you were needed?
because
When
because you advocated so many times to go use something else. Don't come to me.
right,
Use that
right,
service.
shot yourself in the foot, and you and look, I'm telling you, man, and it's
Justification gone.
right. They customer service positions has less than 10 years left in it.
Hmm.
Less than.
And matter of fact, shoot,
Waitresses, all of that. Less than
good
10,
point.
less than
Even
10
good point
years.
too. I'm thinking I left the hotel industry in 2013, and
Mhm.
even then, which I'm surprised it hasn't gone much, hasn't gone all the way yet. But we had at the Marriott started, your mobile check-in, to where you
Mhm.
go ahead and check in for your room, get your credit card on there, all that stuff, and all you got to do is come to the desk and pick your key up. We would have a system that showed me who's checking in. You know what I'm saying? Through the automated service, we set their keys to the side. All you gotta do is come up, let me know what your name is. I've already seen all your stuff that you've already paid, good to go. Just snatch and see your ID, and that's it. And you just come get your key. I'm shocked that. 8 years later, it hasn't even been to a point to where you don't even have to go see anybody at the front desk. You just go to a kiosk, get your key. They might have that somewhere, but not in my travels yet. Have I seen it
It's a
to where you
matter of
just go
time.
in, hit a couple buttons. I'm this person, that person. Scan your ID card or something like that, and a key comes out the chute that says, "Boom, here you go. You have access to your room." You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
with
Even that,
all this facial recognition technology, you think that's not
yeah,
coming? Like, you
yeah.
think that's not coming? You got my license already. So what you think's gonna happen? It's a matter of time before it's like they don't need you for that no more. Technology's replaced you. The fact that Amazon got all these lockers and, like you said, a little kiosk. You think that these hotels aren't gonna get a kiosk? They
Yeah.
might not actually, but because this is the arrogance of hotels. Hotels is a dying industry also, and
Airbnb taking over.
Airbnb is
Airbnb is
turning.
going to do what to hotels what Uber and Lyft did to taxis.
Yes, yes, it's a matter of time for that also. Because guess what? You talk about you don't know if it's changing hotels. I don't either because I haven't been to a hotel in years.
Airbnb.
I've been Airbnb, much better, cheaper rate for a house, privacy. I got my own backyard. I have multiple rooms. I have a home for a cheaper price, more
Good
time,
point.
more
Good point.
convenient.
the,
It's,
the,
it's,
the
it's
fact that you said, I don't know that the hotel industry is changing because I haven't been to
exactly.
wow. That's
It's
amazing.
done. It's done. And now after doing Turo, that was my first Turo experience.
Hmm.
Turo's about to hurt the rental car industry because I got a cheaper vehicle, which was a nicer vehicle than I would have got for a little
Hmm.
entry level car. You know what I'm saying? You would have gave me some little stumpy economy car for the same price that I got an SUV.
Yeah.
And it was much more convenient. Okay, let me break this scenario down for you. We went to LA. I don't know if I've stated that yet. That's where I was at on my trip. I was in Los
Yeah.
Angeles. You land in LAX. What happens normally when you need a rental car is you land in LAX, you go through the hustle to go get your bag claim, you get your bags, you scramble across the street, you wait on a shuttle, you go to a shuttle to wherever your rental company is, and in LAX you sit there and wait an hour in a long line that's all the way out the door to get inside, wait on your car. They tell you your car is not ready. You got to wait again. Then they're cleaning it and you're waiting for them to clean it. Then they bring it
Mhm.
around the front. And then you finally get your car and you get to scramble to your hotel and wait until 2 p.m. to check into your hotel. What I did is I went to bag claim, got my car. I went to the parking garage. I put in the code on the back of the lock, took the lock off the vehicle, loaded my stuff up, and went to my house. And that's what I did for that trip. So
Sounds like
think which one was more convenient, loading my two children around, one in a stroller and carrying their two car seats around. You think that was more convenient doing that and carrying two bags, two large bags that I had to roll? You think I would have
yeah.
wanted to do that on the shuttle and ride huddled in, bunched all next to each other, and some of us having to stand? Or is it better to just go to the parking garage and go
It's crazy how
for
the
cheaper?
industry is shifting that way, and things aren't getting better on the other industry side. Rental cars haven't come down, hotel prices haven't come down. You know what I'm saying? There's no incentive to say, "Hey, continue to use the service that we're providing." What's your
None.
incentives?
There is none. And my wife has a client in her business that works in the hotel industry. She's like some manager, some branch or something like that.
Mhm.
And she said that the industry is in trouble. And she didn't say it was in trouble for the same reason I said. It wasn't because of Airbnb. She just said in general it's in trouble because they're having problems during the pandemic receiving certain products and stuff that they need from
Okay.
manufacturing. So they can't get the soap and the toothpaste and all these other little things they're accustomed to getting, and that they're being affected by that, and they're unable to hire people like they need to hire, and certain places are starting to shut down and downsize because of that. Wait till they really start feeling this Airbnb, like they really about to shut it down.
Yeah.
And on the subject of Airbnb, this might sound far fetched, you know what I'm saying? But Airbnb is about to make it hard on home renters soon too,
Mm.
because
Okay.
Let's dive down this. Let's go down this rabbit hole. You have hold on, let me take one hit of my cigar here also, and then I'm gonna get into this. All right, so Airbnb. Let's say that you're renting a home for $1,800 a month is what you're
Okay.
renting your house for. Now, let's say more than likely the mortgage on that is somewhere around $1,000. What the landlord does is he rents it to you for 1,800. He profits $800 a month, and he does that for 12 months, whatever your lease term is. Now with
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb, you can get you a let's say I'm renting the house out for 150 a night. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Right.
Not even 150 a night, because that's realistic. But let's just say I'm renting out for $100 a night for the sake of
Okay.
math, because I don't have a calculator on me. $100 a night. Let's say that you rent that house out for 25, 25 nights a month, not the whole month, just 25 of them.
25 nights.
Yeah. In 6 days, it don't get rented out. 25 nights. What's the math on that? 25
That's
times
2,500.
100. 2,500. You left $700 on the table that you could have been making. Now, keep in mind, it's going to be hard to find Airbnb at around $100, unless just depending on the area. But if you're in a big city, you probably ain't going to get it for 100. You probably going to get it more 150 to 200.
Right.
So now when they're charging that, my math ain't on point to give you the numbers on that, but you just keep in mind that's an extra $50 for 25 nights that they leaving on the table. You're getting closer
Mm-hmm.
to the $4,000 mark. You know what I'm saying? So
Versus
when
just getting
landlords
$1,800 a month.
1,800 a month for somebody living in it all 30 days of the month, they can have
Or you
somebody
get
in there. You can get 4,000 for having somebody in there around 25 days a month. When landlords realize that I'm missing out on $1,500 or $1,200 a month, what you think they're gonna do? They gonna keep renting it to
that's
you for 1,800, or they gonna go get that extra 1,200?
that's amazing. I've never considered that before.
And consider this: apartments can do the same thing. There are apartments on Airbnb that you can rent an apartment on Airbnb. So
So
what
why
they
am I
gonna
gonna
do?
rent a house or rent apartments? Might as well just set up Airbnbs. Set
Why
up,
am I gonna rent it to you with the risk of you living there and messing it up forever when I can just Airbnb it and get all that money I'm leaving on the table?
yeah. And you're getting
Apartments and
constant maintenance and turnaround on the house.
right,
People just coming in, leaving. Nobody's really setting in mess enough to mess up your carpets, mess up your walls and stuff like that, and
right,
use too much of your facilities, and that's really gonna break the house down, normal wear
right.
and tear, because you're just
Because
coming
you're
in
not
and out.
coming to live. Yeah, you in and
Yeah,
out. You there for vacation. So your purpose isn't the
you
home.
sleep. Yeah, you sleep. You wake up. You go do what you got to do. You come back. You know what I'm saying? You might kick it for a little bit, go to sleep, wake up to go out to go do something else. You're not, like you
Right,
said, you're not there to live
right.
24/7.
So
That's
my
a good
house
point.
now gets less wear and tear, and I make more money and have people in it less often.
Hmm.
Why am I gonna continue to rent this to you? It's gonna get rough out here for people. Like now,
Genius.
I might this might sound far fetched, but give it some time. You know what I'm saying? Like for it to really get popular. When it becomes the standard, it's gonna change stuff for people, man. Like I hope that people are aware of what technology is, the direction it's
Yeah.
taking the world. You know what I'm saying? Like
Things are really going to take an interesting shift. In the I said further down the line, I said decades, but now that you mentioned all these things, this is even more prevalent to
within
now.
10 years. This is within
Yeah,
10 years.
that
Now,
is.
Airbnb may not be the company that caused this, but when they're competitive, but if the competition starts to catch on and they start becoming
Mhm.
more companies offering these services, just how Uber came out, and then next thing you know, you started getting competition for Uber coming out, and then that whole format became the new industry standard, and then it
Yeah,
started really pushing taxis to the side.
yeah.
When Airbnb
You don't see yellow cab no more. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
you don't. you see either what's the one with the little pink symbol? It's Uber and
Lyft, Lyft.
Lyft. Yes. So those now it took an extra competitor in that industry to muscle taxi out. And it's going to be the
Hmm.
same thing with Airbnb. It's going to be the same thing with Turo. As more competition comes into those industries, it's going to start muscling the old standard out. And it's going to be within the next 10 years, you're going to start seeing it. And it's going to
Yeah.
trickle all the way down to renters and regular people. And just like I said, with your jobs, if you don't have, you're going to be forced into entrepreneurship because people who don't have the trades or the education to do higher positions are going to be forced to figure out what they're going to do to make money because they're not going to be able to go get your typical collection job or your customer service job or whatever, or cashier or stuff you were accustomed to being able to get.
And jobs that people aren't even trying to do anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, why would I take this job when I could do this and run my own hours, really? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Work at
Right.
my pace.
Yeah. Look at all the people who are Uber drivers and delivery drivers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Why would I
Yeah.
go make $10 an hour with you when I can go do this on my own and bring in $15 an hour on my own schedule? Even if it's only 15, you know what I'm saying? Which it ain't hourly. Of course, you make by the job and whatnot, but it's still the
Hmm.
same thought process. I'm coming
Yeah.
out with a little more doing it on my own, and I have the freedom of doing it on my own, which is why these companies are forced to start raising wages. It's all
It's
just
it's
a
it's,
big
it's,
circle.
it's too much workforce competition right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're really industries are really battling the greater opportunity for entrepreneurship more so now than they did 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So this is really interesting to see where things are gonna go and how economy is gonna take shape over the next 10 years.
Right.
You know,
And
it's
people
way
want
too many.
entrepreneurship more than ever too right now.
They do. They do. You
Yeah.
see it every day. You see
Yeah,
it every day. It's
the pandemic helped that. You know, in
it did.
reality,
It
people
did.
started realizing what they want from life and how not going to that job, they're happier. Like,
Hmm. That is absolute truth, man. But it's gonna be something to watch, you know, and it's gonna be interesting setup for the future for our children. Like so now, how do we get into a mind frame of how do we shape our children in that whole process of education and shifting how they're educated and what you think that they should really take in account for more so now than learning calculus back in the day like we had to or trigonometry.
right.
It's not as
Well,
prevalent to how I'm saying how life works now. Things are a
true.
whole lot different.
For me, in my opinion, and this is my opinion only, somebody they'll super disagree with what I'm about to say, and it's cool if you do, you know, because it's all a matter of parenting is subjective. But my
Hmm.
take on it is that it's getting to the point where, okay, when you graduated high school, what was one of the things your parents said to you? And of course, they said it probably 11th grade or so, but they said go to college, right?
Well,
Or did they give you another
mine,
option? They said you can do
yeah,
what you
mine
want.
was yeah, mine was different. Well, I would say my mom. She really pushed me to go to college because she uh, knew what I wanted out of what I'm saying, out of a career and profession. Was to go into the medical field. So it was like, nah, you going to college.
Right,
Um, my dad, he didn't really have one way or the other. What I'm saying? Coming from a military family, both my older brothers went off to the military out of high school. They didn't push the military on me, even though
right,
they ended up becoming my future. But it wasn't. My dad didn't necessarily push and say, "Hey, nah, you need to go to college." It was more so,
right.
okay, what do you want? What do you want to do as for a career? Okay, well, I guess you're going to college. That's how it was for him.
Well, the way your father did it is my suggestion for today's
Hmm.
times. I think
Yeah.
that format is great right now. You know what I'm saying? Because we're at that time where you need to really find out what it is that they're interested in, and then at
Hmm.
that point, it's just going to be a matter of, okay, what's the best avenue to get you there? You know, do you
Right.
need to go
And
to a trade
and
school? Do
college,
you
yeah,
need
and
to go high
college is not
school
always
school? Do
the
you need to go
way.
to college? Right. It's a crutch. It's a crutch. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it's not for everybody. So the old thought process of, well, go to school and figure it out, or go to school because you just need to go to school. that's done. Like, don't I
Hmm.
don't think that's the most ideal way,
Yeah,
because
and honestly,
college
going to
is too
college,
expensive for that.
ain't that the truth? Especially
Yeah, just
now,
to be
more so than it was
going.
before. Yeah, and even now, like, well, not now, but when I went to college and graduating, upon graduating, I had no desire to ever go back and get another degree. And even though I feel like I had the acumen for it, it's like I actually had a distaste for college institution. Not
Right.
trying to downplay college, but it's just the fact that understanding that it's an industry as well, more so than
Yes.
it is for, you know what I'm saying, higher education. It's a money making entity. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
Big.
their biggest focus is making money. Side interest is educating people. You know what I'm saying?
And it's
So I
interesting
recognize
you
that
point
early
that out.
on.
It's interesting we never discussed that, but
Hmm.
I had those same feelings. It's funny that we both went to college, we both left with those same feelings about college afterwards. That it was an industry. I had that same realization in my time there. Like, this is an industry, and this is about making money, and this don't guarantee me
Yeah,
nothing. Like,
nothing. Yeah, secondary focus of college is education. Its primary focus is not education. Primary focus is revenue.
it's a revenue maker. It is. I had that same realization. We never discussed that, but I felt the exact same way about it, man.
Hmm.
And because of that, people gonna really have to have that serious conversation with their kids. And it's unfair to a child at 15, 16 to start trying to make them determine what they want to be in life, because they're gonna change their mind 6 or 7 times along the way. In
Yeah.
their 20s, they're gonna change their mind at some point. Going into their 30s, they're gonna be like, man, you know what? This don't sound as appealing no more. I think I want this from life. You're always gonna be
Hmm.
constantly growing and developing as a person. And your wants will always be changing. Is your new enthusiasms change, and your new things that new things that you learn about life change. But
Hmm.
you still gonna have to, whatever direction that child is in, you're gonna have to start trying to figure out at that moment, based on where they're at, what they what's the best route to get them where they're going to. Because don't
Yeah.
just send them off to college no more. It ain't the
Yeah.
move.
That's just you know what I'm saying, a debt in your pocket. You know what I'm saying,
If
potentially,
misused. Yeah,
if
if
misused,
misused.
right?
Yeah.
But there's so many ways to be successful and so many ways to make money nowadays than just go and get education. Not saying education is not important, but also in that vein, there's so many ways to gain education. You know, information is so widely available now. You know, as long as you're guided on what to be educated on, depending on what it is that you want to do, you can get educated. There's so many ways to get educated. Now it's the
Right.
credentials that you have to go get once you're educated in order to work in a certain field. To get that, you know, but there's so many ways to gain education than just going
Yes.
and sitting in somebody's class and paying somebody some tuition somewhere. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And that's important what you said, because by no means would I be promoting not getting educated. Never stop learning. Educate yourself, but educate yourself in the best means for whatever you're trying to do. And sometimes
Right.
going to a 4 year school isn't the best way to do it.
It might
Sometimes
not be the route.
it might not be the route. It might be just taking online classes. It might be a seminar somewhere. It might be
Yeah.
going to work under somebody's tutelage. You know what I'm saying? There's a
Yeah.
lot of different ways to
Yeah. There's
to
different
get
ways
the
to be
education.
educated.
Right. And you should do that. Definitely get as much education as possible, but don't run to traditional just because that's lazy. You know what I'm saying? Especially in today's
Hmm.
time, there's a lot of ways to get things done. Like you said, a lot of options people never had. Where
Yeah.
you to
And
do what you want to do.
now you can really it can really be tailor made to whatever it is that you're trying to do. You can really tailor make your education. You know, you don't just have to go and get broad spectrum education and get a bunch of information on stuff that you'll never use. I went to school as a bio major. There's so much information, even going to go into the medical field and getting into the medical field now, of so many classes and stuff I had to take and money I paid for credit hours to get information and stuff I didn't have any use for, even in my major. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking uh, um let's say, well, I can see how some of my classes did play into like plant diversity and stuff like that. just some small nuggets I can use for what it is I'm trying to do, for like my evolution course or whatever it was. It's like there's some, like even in my degree format, there's a lot of stuff I didn't need. I didn't need for the medical field, but I
Yeah,
had to
keep it
do it
real.
for my
What's the
major
first
so I
two
can go
years?
into it.
What's the first 2 years of college for? Let's keep it real. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Really?
the first 2 years is a waste. Like, because you learning a
Yeah.
bunch of stuff, like you said,
No,
that
those core classes, right?
eh, like maybe
Like
it
I don't
helped a
really
little
need
bit, but your core classes is pointless, man. That's
it.
that's the hustle. Like, you make me
That's the
come
hustle.
learn these things unnecessarily. Like, man, give me
Yeah, like
my
all I
jump
really
straight
needed was the
into it.
last. Yeah, all I really needed was the last 2 years. Give me a semester of core classes, and after that, let me do whatever it is I need to do to, you know what I'm saying, be tailor made for what it is I'm trying to gain out of this,
Right.
the educational experience.
Especially if I'm coming straight out of high school. If
Hmm.
I'm okay, if I'm somebody who hadn't been to school in the last 5 years, and you want to make me do these core
Yeah,
classes as
catch
a
me up.
refresher,
Yeah.
yes, cool, understood. But if I'm coming straight from one form of of school to the next level, man, don't do that to me. You wasting my time, man. Like,
True, true. Yeah, it's interesting how things are going to change and shape up over the next few years, man, going into our future. You know what I mean? Technology, education, all of those things, man. It's 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 gonna be a wild ride, man.
I truly believe our children and the children of the next generation will really have to begin to
Hmm.
start their own businesses, because
Yeah.
that'll be their only way to make money in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? If your child is 5 years old right now, in 10 years, they're not going to be able to go to McDonald's and get a job, because McDonald's already got a little computer, a kiosk that you type in your orders at. You know what I'm saying? So in
Yep.
10 years, they're going to expand upon that, and your child won't be able to get that first job like we all got in the beginning, where you had to go work fast food in high school.
Hmm.
So they won't be able to do that. They won't be able to go to Starbucks and get a job, part-time job for school. They'll have to have their own business. So we're gonna have to start figuring out online businesses, the kids and stuff, man, as means to make money. Like, because
Yeah.
everything's changing. Like, even if you want to get your child into investing is changing. So it's
So much more
you got to keep
accessible.
up.
Yeah.
Not only accessible, but just how it's being done. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you got stuff like, stock was the only way to invest, and then crypto came in, and now they're trying to get rid of crypto. Like, it's always going to be this changing thing. Like,
Hmm.
and you got to find a way to make some money, but you got to stay current with it and pick an industry that ain't going nowhere for a while. I think marketing will be around for a while, because that
Hmm.
seems to be the one thing that people will always need for a while. But eventually, they'll figure out how to make the computers come up with an algorithm to market for you, and you won't need a person to do it for you either. So, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
even know what
That's
industry.
kind of already happening. Already happening in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like there's so many ways and so many avenues to market now. You know what I mean? It ain't just about a billboard on the highway anymore or a
yeah.
commercial on the TV. You know what I'm
So
saying? In
I don't
between
even know
TV
what to tell
shows.
you to I don't even know what to tell people. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always growing. But I mean, that's one of the things that is at marketing is huge right now, because everybody's trying to do their own thing, and
Hmm.
it's still money to be made off of, because a lot of people still don't know how to do it. So it's an opportunity, but to go to college to figure out how to manage somebody's business, it's a little different now. Like, just start your own thing, or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a lot of those type jobs that everybody went for once upon a time. Why go now? Like, like people had to go for therapists and stuff like that, but now you just have people to get on Instagram or YouTube, and they're pretty much
And just start
therapists.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
and they get paid probably better than you getting paid with through insurance companies. You know what I'm saying? So anything that you can come up with that you thought you had to go to school for, you probably don't. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You just like you can just get the education. Like only thing, like I said before, like maybe if you need to get into an industry and you had to have credentials, okay.
Yeah,
Now
if you're
you
a
got to go
doctor
get
or
your
something,
credentials.
go to
Yeah,
school. Most definitely. If you want to be a lawyer, go to school. But some of these other ones, figure it out. I'm sure there's a way
yeah,
to do it on your own.
true. Yeah, man. So where you at with your cigar, man? How your burn looking?
It's looking good, man. It's looking good. You know how I get down. I would
Yeah,
ask to see
always.
yours, but you spinning, so
All right, but mine kind of burnt out a little bit. I had to relight mine a few times. I think that was an error on my part. Um, Probably didn't keep my cigar well. I know you put a post recently showing your humidor levels. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
making sure
yeah,
your humidity uh, was right for your cigars. I
yeah.
think I kept mine a little drier than it should have been. So I kind of burnt out a few times. Had a relight. I'm probably on my fourth relight right now.
So now, what you said, I put a post. Now our Instagram, if you've made it this far into the show, on whatever platform you're listening to us on, our Instagram is Vernon's underscore cigars. That is correct, right? Yeah, Vernon's
Yeah, that's
underscore
correct.
cigars. There, I posted because in episode 4 we talked about bad humidor habits, and I talked about how bad I've been about keeping my humidity level where it needs to be at. So I took care of it this week, and I had it in the perfect zone. So I had to show that off. So I showcased that at our Instagram page. You can follow us there if you enjoy the show. But yeah, Vernon's underscore cigars. So yeah, this one right here is doing great because of that. I'm proud of myself.
Okay. So let me ask you this: is it another pickup? Are you picking it up again?
Yeah, I'll pick it up again. I'll pick it up again. It was a good cigar. It's
Okay.
a good cigar.
All
Right
right.
now, it's going into a more smooth. Some of the same notes are there. The leatheriness is kind of gone a little bit. It's a little bit more creamy and mellowed out now. It's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
medium body cigar without a doubt. It came in a lot stronger. I think the fact that I used the cedar feel
No
allowed
doubt.
me to allowed me to really taste some of those notes, and maybe that's why I
Yeah.
never pick up on the
Yeah. That
leatheriness.
that 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 is an advantage of a cedar sticks, man. I kind of got to get back to that. That used to be my go-to every time. It's like with that cedar. Uh, yeah, get your cigar an advantage. And let
Yeah.
let let all of its true nuances really come through.
Right.
All those
Yeah.
characteristics, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we said I was going to start compiling a list of my top fives going
Mhm.
forward. So we got to get back to that. I want to definitely get back to finding out what my new top five is, what my new, you know what I'm saying, my new staples are going to be. Um, it's Undercrown. Not going to say it's hasn't quite made the list. Not going to jump into my top five. But the legal I smoked last episode, the number 9,
Mhm.
we can put that one in the top five. So we can, so far, that's in the running. So we got 4 more slots to fill for me. Um, legal number 9, throw that in there.
Could this go 10? Top 10?
Was that?
Could this go top 10 for you?
Could it go top 10?
Yeah.
Possibly. Especially since I said I haven't had any leathery texture cigars.
Right.
That's something I probably would add in there to say, okay, I want that type of flavor in there, but mainly for that reason to say, okay, we got to get that flavor in there, get one of those a notch in one of the slots. So it will make my extended list, the top 10.
Okay. So let's get into our ratings for these cigars. Then I know we
Okay,
let's try to start making sure that we get them at least a top a rating from 1 to 5, and let them know what the judgment is for these cigars.
okay, okay. So are we doing half points or only going
Yeah,
whole?
yeah, yeah. If you want to go half, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Or fractions? Can we do fractions?
Hey, if you need to break it down like that, that's cool too.
We're gonna break it all the way down, man. We got to give its complete fair shake. So with this guy, out of 5, not quite a 4, because I think 4 is high. And since we're starting there, I don't want to go too high. I might level it up later, depending on how things are shaping up with other cigars. But I'm gonna go with a 3.8 right now.
3.8. Okay,
Three point
That's
eight.
that's solid. That's solid. I like that. I wouldn't be mad at that GPA. So let's go with for me. I'm gonna go with the New World Puro Especial. I'm gonna go with a 4. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4.
Okay. Okay.
I
Are
like
you
it. I like
sure?
it. I'm sorry. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm gonna go
All
with it.
right.
I'm gonna go with it. Now this wouldn't for me personally, and my personal preference for a cigar, it would not be one of my daily go-to cigars, but I would if I was out at a lounge, cigar lounge, I would definitely go with this one here. I would
All
pull
right.
it in that environment and I would enjoy it and I'd be good with it, man. So
All right.
this is a definite good choice for those who might be into a medium body cigar with a lot of the same flavors of a more full cigar, full body.
All right. Got my smoke back going. So yeah. Where we at? We ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and close it out. You got any closing words for us today?
No closing words. I'm just glad to be back. Glad to get back into the swing of things and get these cigars back going and enjoying the life, enjoying the culture, man.
Most definitely, most definitely. Also, for those of you out there, please, if you made it this far into the show, feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube. We're gonna start posting videos on YouTube. We're gonna be posting clips of the show for those who may not be able to catch the entire episode. You can because some of these are in long format, of course, on in the podcast. So you'll be able to catch the highlights of the shows and stuff like that. They're also on our YouTube. It's gonna be Vernon Cigars. You can find us there at that name. Once again, follow us on Instagram at Vernon's underscore cigars. My name is Jared. Denzel is my co-host. And we
Yeah.
will get with you guys next episode, and we'll know the number of that episode after I get this posted. So,
Yes, sir.
all right, y'all.
All right,
Next time.
man. Yeah. Till next time.